Hi, my name is Brad, and I'm an operations manager for Yahoo Small Business, and I want to thank you for joining our Tactics to Boost Revenue for Your Yahoo Small Business webinar. I have no doubt you'll walk away from today's webinar with information you can apply to your site and new resources to employ and share. I now want to introduce you to one of our developer partners, Brandy Bell from All Web Promotions. Brandy?
Thanks, Brad. I'm Brandy with All Web Promotion. I'm really excited to be here today with our part 2 of our 3-part series of Tactics to Boost Revenue for Your Small Business. If you missed part 1, we also have that available, so reach out to me and I can give you a link to that. But tune in next week also for part 3. We have some more great material coming your way. Today, we're going to be talking on the marketing end, and today I have Brock Cooper with me. He is our SEO coordinator master here at All Web. Take it away, Brock.
Thanks everyone for joining us. Like I said, my name is Brock and I'm the SEO coordinator here at All Web. I also go by SEO Guru and SEO Mastermind. Excuse me. You know, one thing that I've noticed in the years is that, you know, people are willing to spend millions of dollars every year on campaigns for television, radio, print, and they just completely ignore the fact that they've got their best marketing tool right in front of them all the time, and that's their website. You know, a lot of e-commerce businesses, they think their website is just where they sell their product, and it's not where they market it. That's what the ads are for. But it's a marketing tool that's just as reliable as any print ad or commercial ad that's available. You know, and one way that you're able to build that is through content marketing. You know, while we can't promise shoeless Joe Jackson's going to come walking out of a cornfield, we do believe that if you build it, customers will come. So, you know, you can't bump into a digital marketer, and believe me, we're everywhere, right? It's like we're like cockroaches. You're always bumping into us. You put us in a room, you turn the light on, and we scatter. You know, and as we're running to the recesses, we're going to be talking about content marketing. Now, the goal of content marketing is to take the content you've got on your site, like your blogs, your videos, your images, and use those to increase your traffic and sell your product. Now, it's important that the content that you have is completely unique and it's not taken or cultivated from other sites or companies. You know, I know how easy it is to just cut and paste on a product description from the manufacturer. I mean, it's right there. They spent the time to make it, so why can't I just use it? But when it comes right down to it, search engines hate duplicate content more than a 4-year-old hates Brussels sprouts.
I can relate to that, Brock. I have a son who really hates Brussels sprouts, so I can only imagine how the search engines feel.
You know, my kids use them as projectiles, so thankfully it's helped them on their baseball career. You'll find that it's not always the easiest route that is the best in terms of satisfying your customers and getting the SEO juice that you need. The goal and the key is unique, authoritative content. It's always going to be the best. You know, we're here for one reason. That's to increase your revenue, you know, because you like money, I like money, Uncle Sam likes money. I mean, he keeps taking more and more of mine every year. So if you want more of it, then you're going to have to spread the word. People are going to have to know who you are, what your business is, and what you're selling. So customers and search engines love the idea of unique content. Now, most of an e-commerce page is content that's static and isn't going to change. I mean, no one wants to go in and change their product descriptions every week or every month. You know, but if you have a blog on your site, then you can use that to put information up, you know, whatever you want. It's like your own personal, private Reuters or Associated Press. It's your news, your authority that you're putting out there. And so it helps with SEO, and it creates a content that you can send out on your social media like Facebook and Twitter. When you start answering the questions and informing the public, that's when they're going to start trusting you and buying your product. If you've got a great blog post, you spend a lot of time on it, and it looks great, it's really authoritative, don't just stop there. You know, take that post and turn it into an infographic and then posting that on Instagram and Pinterest. The more ways you have to get your information out there to the public, the better you are, chances are, of snagging a new customer. Blogs are a great place to take advantage of the keyword research and target specific audiences. You know, they're just not a place for woebegone adolescents to rant against the injustices of the world, like McDonald's getting rid of their High C Orange, because I know I'm still not over that. I mean, it's a huge issue in my life right now. And how their mom took their phone away for 2 weeks because they came in late, you know, past their curfew. Now, a blog is a powerful marketing tool that drives your customers and your revenue.
I agree, Brock. I think that a lot of people overlook the power and the strategies you can actually implement with a blog. A blog, it shouldn't be an afterthought. A blog should definitely be part of your marketing strategy. And I think that's a great point to hit right there.
You know, when you take your blog post and you add that in with your videos, your paid advertising, and you put it all together, and it's an unstoppable marketing juggernaut. I mean, I love that word. I never get to say it enough. And the reason is, my wife always makes fun of me when I say it.
Okay, I won't tell her you said it today.
Now, we have run across a few Yahoo stores that have taken a lot of time and a lot of effort to build out their blog. But their blogs are often hosted on a subdomain, or even worse yet, they're on a completely different domain. You know, so the main store itself isn't getting any of the SEO benefits that a blog can bring. You know, having a blog on Blogspot does absolutely nothing for you. You know, we have developed our own custom in-store blog, which is completely and fully hosted within the Yahoo Store platform. So that means that the content that you create goes right back to your store. It's not coming from somewhere else. It's not going somewhere else. It's created and fully directly to your main store. So you create blog posts the same way you would create any other item or category page. You know, you get a few new custom variables to denote the new page as a blog post and to list important information like the post author and the post date. And our blog even comes with a complete basic commenting system. So when people want to say something great or something not so great about your blog, they've got an opportunity to do that. You know, or if you want to, we can go ahead and upgrade that to a full-featured third-party commenting system like Discus. The in-store blogs we have also have schema.org microdata built into them. So it's basically the best thing since sliced bread and fidget spinners.
Oh, fidget spinners. That's hard to top right now, blog.
One major difference between using a blogging platform like WordPress and using the Yahoo Store platform is that the ability to easily format your text. To compensate for that, we include a specialized text editor with your in-store blog. So we set up a page in your store that is a fully functional text editor that you can style your blog post just like you were using Word. The text editor outputs clean code that you can just copy and paste into the blog post. And then as a bonus, you also can use the text editor to do something really nicely styled for any content on your site. It's a universal tool that a Yahoo store really can't live without these days. Now, so while your content outside of the blog is mostly static, that doesn't mean it can't stand out and be emphatic. You see what I did there? I'm a poet and didn't even know it. But yeah, I can hear the groans from here. Don't worry. I'm not going to be doing a rap for you anytime soon.
Oh, well, that's good because we can't afford to lose you, Brian.
Although DJ Cooper would be awesome. So what you do with your web content is your blog content is only one small part of your website as a whole. A good significant portion of your website is going to be your category and pages and product descriptions, your FAQ, and that's not going to change much over time. I mean, but they can do more than just be a singular descriptive part of your site. You take the information and use your extensive keyword analysis to create extended descriptions and product categories that are peppered with keywords. Make everything part of your SEO plan. As we discussed earlier, you know, make sure the content is unique and not just copy and paste it from the manufacturer. Create a product description that does more than just say what your product is. Your customers can see that. They have a picture right there that shows your product. You need to show what makes you special. Business is a dog-eat-dog world, and if you're going to survive it, then you can't have the same thing as everybody else. You need a way to set yourself apart from the pack, and by using your category and product descriptions to really tell your story and what makes you better than everyone else is a must. You know, you need to say, why are your products unique? Is your company unique? You need to let your customers know that so when they click on that Google search engine, they know they're getting something special and not just the same old that they've been used to. Now, you may ask yourself, why should I spend so much time and effort on SEO when I can just get immediate results from paid advertising? Well, the biggest one is money. I mean, it's right there in the title, paid advertising. Well, search engines are trying their best to integrate ads into search results seamlessly. The reality is people trust natural search results, organic search results, better and more than they do ads. I know I do, but I could be biased because I'm an SEO guy. The question you should ask yourself isn't, why should I spend so much time, but why aren't I at the top of both organic and paid search? And to do that, you need to have the data. So data is everywhere, and I'm not talking in that Terminator, Naked Arnold, Skynet kind of way either. You know, that's coming, but not quite yet. There are a lot of free and paid tools available that let you understand your website, the customer journey that they go on, and create content that creates a better experience for your search engines and the customers. Take, for example, the Google Search Console, or if you're old school, the Webmaster Tool. It lets you examine your search queries and see if there's any errors that Google bots crawl on your website. So you might end up finding keywords that you're not thinking about, or you might even find out that half your website isn't even being indexed on Google.
Yeah, that's a major problem. I know we've run into that a couple of times where developers may put a no index on your website for a specific reason, maybe it's development or something like that, but after the fact forget to go and take it off. That means that Google is not seeing anything on your website. So always double check that. That's such a simple thing that can really cure a huge headache later on.
You know, I have to first of all say I'm sorry to Yahoo. I mentioned the G word, and you might want to go ahead and plug your ears because I'm going to mention G who shall not be named a few more times. There are utilities that track specific keywords and tell you how you rank. They let you track the rank from week to week, month to month. And then another great tool to use is, and it's to my opinion the best tool, the one I spend most of the time with, is Google Analytics. It's a overall comprehensive and yet incredibly confusing free tool to use. It lets you understand and know pretty much everything Google does about who's coming to your website, where they're coming from, where they're going, and why they ended up leaving in the first place. I'm certified in analytics, and I know I spend hours and hours poring over data for our clients, everything from traffic sources like organic, referral, paid, and to first and last page visits. It's really an invaluable tool once you've wrapped your head around it. But what happens is you end up spending hours and hours doing this, and then you've got so many spreadsheets of data that Excel itself starts cowering in the corner and begging you to stop. They're like, please, please. And you're asking yourself, with all these tabs open, like, what am I going to do with this? What do I do with all this data? And what you do is you take that data, and you create your own content strategy around that, like creating target-specific landing pages. Now, a landing page is a page that is created for a specific purpose. It could be a location page that you use to target people from a specific region. It could revolve around a sale you're having, a marketing campaign, or a special product that you're just putting out and you want to really promote. The key is to use all the data you have and collect it to create a landing page that converts. A good landing page is constantly evolving as you learn and discover sort of how it's converting and how your customers are using it and interacting with it. If you have a landing page that's designed for customers from a specific region, say your local region, and you look at your analytics data and you're seeing that the people coming to your site are all from a different region. They're, no one's coming from your region. Then you know what? Something has to change because it's not doing anything for you. You can discern if people are coming from, are new visitors to your site. You can see if they're old or returning visitors that are coming in for looking for that great deal. The key is to maximize your conversions for that target audience that you're going for. If you notice sales are sluggish, it's not doing what you want, then don't be afraid to tweak the page and test it again against your analytics and sales data. For example, something so subtle as changing the color of your submit button, you may find increases your clicks by 3%. And yes, that does happen. But you could also find that if you change the wording in your lead paragraph, that your clicks decrease by 5%. By using your data, testing the website, and changing the landing page accordingly, you're going to see your conversions maximize. Sort of the ultimate goal of all this is to create a page that your customers want to visit because they are the ones that matter. No matter how much we think the website looks great and is user-friendly, it's the customer that determines if it's a success. We've had a lot of clients that think their website is amazing, and we go in there and we start telling them, well, you should do this, you should do this, you should do this, because what they like is not necessarily what the customers are liking. So the key is to listen closely and to don't take their feedback for granted. Marketing's not something that's passive. It's something that you're always going to have to do. You're doing all the time. And so if you're noticing that a lot of your customers are coming to you with the same questions or having concerns, then you need to address those in a blog post that you can then share on your social media or even put it on your FAQ page. These days, customers have a lot of different ways to letting their frustrations know, to get their frustrations out there. They can send you an email. They've got social media. They can blow up your Facebook page or your Twitter site. You've got reviews. You can get Yelp reviews and testimonials. By ignoring them, you're saying that they don't matter. And if someone has a question that's not getting answered, then they're going to find someone that can answer their question. And that's going to be your competitors. So your first step to customer bliss is creating that initial content page. So a content page is a little different than a product page, which is probably what you're used to. It's not centered on a specific product, but instead on information. So no matter what type of page you are creating, you always want to start with the contents page and then click the new button. You're going to get to bring up your new page. This allows you to name the page ID. Instead of getting a page ID that doesn't make any sense by default, you get to name it. Keep in mind that page IDs need to be the only letters, digits, and dashes. And we recommend that you use dashes in place of spaces just to make it more readable. And always use type for the item. The page URL is built using the page ID. So if the page ID is awesome page, then the URL that your customers are going to see is going to be yourdomain.com/awesomepage.html. So how do you name your pages? Do you just use the default settings? Because I know a lot of you do, because part of my job is to go in there and change them. So if you've just got gibberish and numbers, that's not getting you anything, except weird looks from all the Google bots that come by. They're really, really judgmental. Putting keywords in the page ID makes a lot of sense for search results. When this URL is shown in search, it gives both the search engines and the users a clear signal on what is on the page. We've done testing and updating store URLs, and we've seen a lot of great results in search. Google really loves seeing those keywords in the URL. After that, you continue setting the page up as normal, populating all the variables you want. Once you have your copy added and formatted, you can begin styling the back end to make it more appealing to the customers in the search engine. One little known thing that people tend to forget is the page title and meta description. It only takes a couple of minutes to do, and it really can help with your SEO and customer usage. The page title should contain a keyword and clear indication of what's on the page, but make sure not to go over 80 characters. The meta description is what people see when they examine search results. It's that small paragraph under the page title, that should be limited to about 160 characters. Any more than that, and Google truncates it, and that just doesn't look good. Taking a few extra minutes now while you're creating the page to make sure that they're properly set up can save you a lot of headache later on. As some of you might know, you can't change the page ID once it's been set up.
Wait, can we just pause right here for a second? If you just heard what Brock said, he said you cannot change the page ID once the page is set up. So I just want to re-emphasize this. This is so important. You need to really think about what you're doing before you put that page ID in. Brock has some more suggestions on how to choose that.
So, first of all, take your time and choose wisely, and make sure you fill out the variables completely. If you haven't, if you've already gone through there and you've got all these default pages on there, we do have a process that we can help change the page IDs if you ever need it. Typically, we suggest about a batch of 50 or 60 at a time, and then we monitor how they work and before we do more. As with everything else, track the progression of the rankings and see how it impacts your store. If it gets better or worse, we can go in and change things again. Now, if your site looks great and people love it, then they're going to start leaving reviews, which is another big aspect of your SEO and marketing. So one of the great tools that's out there that from Google that Yahoo stores connect with is the Google Customer Reviews, which has replaced Google Trusted Stores. Now, reviews are an integral part of the customer buying experience. During the research stage of making a purchase, a shopper looks for reviews not only to decide if it's the product that they want, but also if the site, what site they're selling, if that's the site they want to buy it from. People look at reviews for everything from small items like food purchases to major expenses like cars. In fact, we found that 88% of consumers trust online reviews as much as personal recommendations, according to Bright Local. That means more than their own mother-in-law. I know I do. And she's a nice person, but I like Yelp more. GCR helps collect reviews with a code that brings up a survey that customers can opt in and then complete and rate their experience on a scale of 1 to 5. What's really great is once you've reached a certain threshold of reviews, you can then take those and display them in shopping and text ads on AdWords. So that about wraps up our presentation on marketing. So we hope that the information was good and it didn't put you to sleep or get your brain on information overload. So we're here to answer any questions you have and to the best of our ability. So here we are.
So I just want to thank everyone for attending the webinar today. And just remember, we do have Yahoo on the line still, so Brad Dorsey's still with us. If you have any questions regarding that, he'd be happy to field any Yahoo questions. Brock and I would be happy to field any marketing questions. So if you have something specific to your store, feel free to go ahead and fire away.
And one quick point, too. Thank you so much, Brock. That was incredible information. But one thing, too, if you're having any technical issues with your site, be sure to visit help.smallbusiness.yahoo.net. We have a thriving community there, many people who can assist you, as well as other fellow customers who may be having the same issue but have found a solution.
That's a great point, Brad. Community is a really good place to go look for those answers. Developers are actually watching community. There's Yahoo personnel that's watching community as well, as long as other store owners, as Brad mentioned. So there's a lot of great ideas and discussions that are happening there. So I just want to remind everyone before we close, we do have part 3 coming up next week, so that's going to be next Wednesday. It's May 31st at 1 o'clock Central Time. You won't want to miss all the great details on how we're going to wrap up this webinar.
Brandy, I'm really looking forward to it.
And you can see there my email's up if you've got any other questions that come up later on. I'm an SEO guy, so I have no life beyond this. So feel free to email me anytime or call. I'm lonely. No one talks to me. So I'm here for you anytime you need.
Awesome. I hope you guys all have a great day. Thanks for attending.